Jensen, when we break down every single team, as we have done here to get you ready for opening day here, one of those teams that I know you really like, they're under the microscope for very good reason. Let's get to it with today's edition of the Daily Diamond. It's the boys in the Pacific Northwest. Oh, so close to getting to the World Series last year. Wasn't for some late inning heroics in Game 7 against Toronto. They might have got there last year. It would have been a very interesting series against the Dodgers. And I think the point is, Jensen, while the Blue Jays pushed the Dodgers as far as humanly possible, I don't know that it would have been very different with Seattle. They felt like they were right there, as good as anybody in the American League a year ago. 90-win team. Lost that classic to Toronto in 7. To make the postseason this year, you got to lay almost $3. The betting market trusts this team. Win total high, 89.5. Even money to win the AL West. 5-1 to win the pennant, 12-1, short number to win the World Series. Jensen, I think it's a team top to bottom that we go, yeah, I understand why those numbers are as short as they are.
Yeah, they might have been a year early as far as being able to punch their ticket to their first ever Fall Classic, because that's where I have them this year. I think they do get over the hump, not only winning the American League West again, but also this is a team that scarily got better with the acquisition of Brendan Donovan now to be their leadoff hitter and their third baseman. He will now put himself in front of Cal Raleigh with the historic 60 home run season, Julio Rodriguez, who looked amazing in the World Baseball Classic, Josh Naylor, Randy Arozarena. The lineup is exceptionally deep. And Dave, I reiterated to you this point last year, and it bears repeating for people that will be jumping in with us daily on our betting angles here. This is a starting rotation for Seattle that was about league average for the first half of the season. Compare that to how dominant they were for the last couple of years. I mean, they were begging for run support. You scored 3 runs for this group, and that was it. Book it. They were going to win. And last year, they finally got the offensive reinforcement, and you see what happened once they got healthy. Remember, they dealt with injuries to Logan Gilbert and George Kirby early. The emergence of Brian Wu was amazing before he got hurt at the end of the year. Luis Castillo, the sage-old veteran, continues to spin it with the best of them, and they actually got even better in their bullpen, making a very shrewd trade in my eyes for one of the better setup men from the Washington Nationals and Jose Ferrer, left-handed power guy that's going to be right in front of Matt Brash and Andres Munoz. And you could have made the argument that Munoz, outside of Aroldis Chapman, was the best stopper in all of baseball. Here's what you like. The ingredients remain. They're kind of running back the same outfit. But now, if you get any semblance of health from this rotation, and pick names out of a hat, Dave, it's that disgusting of a rotation. You want to face Gilbert? Right. You want to face Wu? You want to face Kirby? Heck, you want to face the power bowling ball sinkers and changeup of Luis Castillo? Oh, by the way, they got a nice young pup in Emerson Hancock who has found his way to the big leagues here the last year or two. He's going to fill out the rotation, and they still have more that they can dip down and get as far as rotation reinforcements if they need that. Now, when you look at the overall topography of the American League, who are the real candidates to be able to win it? Well, you can make an argument, just like we did last year, for about 6 teams, I think. If you look in the West, it's the Mariners. Will we hear from the Rangers this year? I think we might. It may not be right away, but they may have closing speed if they can get help from their rotation. Obviously, the Yankees are going to be in there. We look at what the Red Sox did with their rotation. I think that you have to include Baltimore as a team on the rise. I picked them to win the American League East, and of course, the defending AL champion Toronto Blue Jays. Those are the teams in my mind, Dave, right now, and with all due respect to Detroit, those are the 6 teams I think that have a chance to win the American League. If Detroit is able to get more offensively, then I think we can include them because we know their pitching staff is phenomenal when healthy. But this is the most complete team in my eyes in the American League at the beginning of the season. There's not much left for them to do, if at all. If this is the team you tell me on the last day of the regular season is healthy heading into the postseason, I feel incredible about my 5-1 future for the Mariners to win the American League pennant.
Logan Gilbert's going to get the ball tonight to kickstart their season against the Guardians. And the reason why I bring that up, and I'm so glad you brought up the starters that pick your poison with this group. So I'm going to ask you the hard question of who the ace is. Now, the betting market will tell you that it's Brian Wu because he's the shortest shot on the board at 17-1 to win Cy Young. Logan Gilbert getting that start tonight. He's 20-1. You don't see this very often. George Kirby is 40-1, and Luis Castillo, as you mentioned, is 65-1. Jensen, their four starters are all there on the big board to win Cy Young. You normally don't roll out four guys. I don't want to say interchangeable, but yet you can make a case for all four at those numbers for Cy Young. So manager Jensen Lewis, who is your ace out of that four?
Any of them. That's a cop-out. But if you're making me pick a starter, if you're making me pick a starter right now for a decided game 7, I'm leaning Wu just slightly over Gilbert. And you brought up, and remind me again, you saw Kirby at 40-1 for American League Cy Young. I think that's actually a wonderful value play. I think that really is because, again, you're banking on that, last year I dealt with the injury. Hopefully he's past that. He's made the adjustments in offseason training to be there. Because a lot of people liked him last year, Dave. Adam Burke and I last year gave out Logan Gilbert in the betting guide. And unfortunately, the early injury derailed that opportunity to win the American League Cy Young. I'm also adding Nathan Eovaldi in my AL Cy Young portfolio at better than 40-1. I think that's great value on George Kirby. So if you're looking to add here in the futures market and you haven't diversified the portfolio a little bit, you have a great opportunity between those three Seattle starters, Gilbert, Kirby, and Wu. But I love that number for George Kirby if you're looking for maybe a little bit more of a longer shot for a guy that has amazing control. He's going to eat innings when healthy, and he's right there. You asked the question, pick the ace. Hard to do that out of those three guys. There's not a lot of daylight between all three.
All right, Cal Raleigh is the third betting choice to win MVP at 11-1. You and I talked about it. I still can't believe he didn't win it. I love Aaron Judge. I think he's obviously a generational talent. We get that. But it was a historical year that we saw from Cal as a switch-hitting catcher that we never see, and he couldn't win it. I guess my question is, do we worry about regression? That really, it was Cal Raleigh in that offense. And, you got a little bit of help there from Rosaran and some other guys, but it was primarily Cal. Can he possibly duplicate those numbers? We know Judge can, but can Cal Raleigh really get close to what he did a year ago?
It would be nearly impossible to ask that, Dave, because of all the wear and tear, too. Remember, he caught every inning. And people don't, I think, factor that in year over year. It's the longest year professionally he's played. And, oh, by the way, you've already ramped up catching World Baseball Classic games, too. Now, you would have done it in spring training, but you already have those leverage innings that you've been under, not only defensively, but at the plate. He hits 35 homers, Dave. I think that's at least the foundation. I would be shocked if he doesn't get there.
All right. So, again, I don't want to call it a travesty, but I was very surprised that Cal Raleigh could not win that award because, again, I think Mitch Moss said it last year. You put him on the Yankees last year doing that as a catcher, and, he absolutely wins that award.